Think about your responsibilities as a teacher. Now ask yourself, how many of those are actual necessities? Welcome to another episode of the Hack Learning Podcast. Hack Learning is what you can do tomorrow. I'm your host, Mark Barnes, and today we're talking about finding balance as a teacher. And this is something that I don't think we think about enough. We're so consumed with how we teach and what we teach and creating lessons and assessing learning and being engaging and rapport building and all of the things that are so important for an educator that often we don't think about our own work-life balance and how that impacts us and then how it impacts kids. And today I would like to share with you what Chuck Poole says about finding balance in his new book, Unforgettable, Your Roadmap to Being the Teacher They Never Forget. And this is from a new education book series called the Unseries. This is what Chuck says about finding balance. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Professional surfers have balance. They have the remarkable ability to stand on a board without falling off while powerful waves continually attempt to knock them down. They understand that in order to stay upright, they have to control their own actions rather than letting the waves beneath them control the situation. They learn to respect the power of the ocean and just enjoy the ride. As teachers, our work can sometimes feel like a wave crashing beneath our feet and trying to knock us off balance. We become so overwhelmed with lesson plans, expectations, and initiatives that we have little time to enjoy anything else, and our job becomes more of a burden than a labor of love. Finding a way to balance is the only way to keep from drowning. When we find balance, our vision becomes clear and we are able to rise above the waves and make an even greater impact. You're listening to an excerpt from Unforgettable, Your Roadmap to Being the Teacher They Never Forget, the first book in the new Unseries. Unforgettable is now available on Amazon and in other stores. Check it out today. Let's get back to an excerpt from Destination 6, Find Balance. Unforgettable teachers understand the importance of balance. Although we find ourselves falling from time to time, we follow a plan and maintain a set of boundaries that show us the line between our surfboard and the raging ocean around us. The plan and the boundaries give us a path to follow, even when things become a struggle. It's easy to get consumed by what's going on in the moment. But a plan keeps us on the path towards success and the grander scheme of things. Identify your peak time to help you start to build balance in your life and your teaching. Use your not-so-peak hours to accomplish the tasks that take less concentration or motivation. Doing these important and perhaps most difficult tasks during these hours will guarantee that you get them done, and leave the rest of the day for lesser tasks that take less energy and focus. You will find that your days are more organized and that you end up getting more done. We often spend too much time trying to figure out how to fit everything into the limited amount of time we have each day and end up failing at many of our goals. If, though, we figure out when our energy is at its highest point and budget our time with that in mind, we can increase our effectiveness and efficiency. Here's an example of how I work to manage my energy throughout the day. High energy time, 5 to 8 a.m. and 3 to 5 p.m. Spend time with family, write podcast episodes and blog posts, brainstorm ideas for the Unseries. Mid-energy time, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Plan lessons, grade papers, collaborate with colleagues. Low energy time, 6 to 9 p.m. Work out, read or answer email, watch TV, check social media. Chuck says follow these simple steps to help you match your energy level with the proper tasks. Step 1, consider which tasks take up most of your energy. If you're struggling, try creating a list or chart and classifying your tasks in regard to how difficult they are. Determine when you are at your best during the day, when you have the most energy. For some teachers, this will be in the morning or during a prep period. For others, it may come at the end of the day after the students have left the building. Step 3, plan to complete your high-energy tasks during your peak hours. Step 4, complete your mid-energy tasks during other times of the day when you still have energy but are outside or at the edges of your peak time. These tasks might include things like grading papers, completing paperwork, or planning units with colleagues. Step 5, leave your low-energy tasks for the time of day when you have the least energy. These are the times that take the least mental work and can be left for times when you have the least mental energy. Include things like checking email, social media, or working out. Finding balance is not only about time. We might budget our time perfectly and still find that there aren't enough hours in the day to complete everything we have to do. Becoming overwhelmed and stressed about a lack of time is not the way to become an unforgettable teacher. Instead, you'll be going through the motions and treating your students as afterthoughts. So, how do we avoid the problem? Many of us have trouble saying no because it's in our nature to help others. We end up taking on more than we can handle, which causes stress and resentment. We get busy doing favors that we never wanted to do, all because we never set boundaries. Ultimately, our passion takes a back seat to stress, and our students notice. Combat this problem by creating a contract with yourself. When we sign a teaching contract, we are saying we'll abide by what's in it and meet the expectations we've just signed on for. If we do not follow through with that, we can be fired or sued. They are powerful pieces of paper that bring joy to those who receive them and pain to those who break them. The same concept works with a boundary contract. The contract is one you design and outlines what you're willing to take on outside of your normal teaching responsibilities and what you are not. Here are some examples. If you enjoy heading up committees to help develop the school, include in the contract one of your outside activities. If you do not, include it in the contract as a responsibility that is not acceptable to you. If you're willing to take on a coaching responsibility or an after-school club, include it in the contract. If not, make sure to list that as something you're not willing to take on during the year. Put these things down in writing and then sign it. And you'll have a document to review down the line when you're faced with a decision. Making that decision and avoiding the overwhelm that comes with overpromising will help you achieve better balance. Finding balance in our lives will benefit everyone we come into contact with, and by implementing a few strategies, we can change our lives for the better. That was an excerpt from Unforgettable, Your Roadmap to Being the Teacher They Never Forget, Book 1 in the new series from Times 10 Publications, written by Chuck Poole, the producer of the Teachonomy blog and the Teachonomy podcast. Make sure you check those out. They'll be linked over on our show notes page at hacklearning.org/balance. And for more about how to become an unforgettable teacher, and who doesn't want to do that, please check out the new Unforgettable, Your Roadmap to Being the Teacher They Never Forget, now available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and in other stores. And once again, thank you for listening to the Hack Learning Podcast. For more from Hack Learning, visit hacklearningpodcast.com.